Imagine this for a moment. You've worked your whole life, waking up early, putting in long hours, paying your taxes, raising your family, and contributing to the country in every possible way. You've been responsible, careful, and hardworking. And finally, you reach the age when you hope you can rest a little, enjoy the life you built, and feel safe knowing that the government will look after you through the age pension. But lately, everything feels uncertain. Prices are going up. Bills keep arriving. Groceries, electricity, and rent are all rising, and the money that once stretched comfortably now seems to disappear faster than ever. That's why today's news is so important for you and for every senior in Australia. Because this November, big changes are coming to the age pension, changes that could affect how much you receive, how your pension is calculated, and how secure your income will be in the months ahead. These are not small updates. They are significant shifts in payment rates, deeming rates, and aged care funding that will influence how much ends up in your pocket. That's why it's crucial to understand what's happening, what to expect, and what actions you should take to make sure you don't miss out. Before we go deeper, please take just a second to subscribe to this channel and click that little bell icon. That simple step will make sure you never miss the latest updates, news, and breakdowns of all the changes to Centrelink and government support payments. I'm here to explain everything clearly and simply, with care and honesty, so you can feel confident and informed every step of the way. Now, let's begin by understanding why these changes matter so much. The age pension isn't just another payment. For hundreds of thousands of older Australians, it's the lifeline that keeps food on the table, the electricity running, and the bills paid. It's what provides security and dignity after a lifetime of work. But the truth is, the real value of the pension has been shrinking because of inflation. Everything from healthcare to housing to transport costs more now, and even small shifts in payment rates can make a big difference in people's lives. The government reviews the pension twice a year, in March and September, to make adjustments based on inflation and wages. But this year, there's more. A special November change designed to give extra relief to seniors facing higher living costs. That's why this video matters, because understanding these changes could help you plan better and make sure you're getting every dollar you deserve. Let's quickly go over how the age pension works today, so the new updates make sense. To qualify for the age pension, you must have reached the qualifying age, which is currently 67 for anyone born after the 1st of January, 1957. You must also meet residency rules, meaning you've lived in Australia for a certain minimum period, usually 10 years, and be an Australian citizen or permanent resident. Then, there are two important tests, the income test and the assets test. Centrelink looks at both, and whichever gives you the lower payment is the one they use. The income test examines how much you earn from work, savings, or investments. If you earn more than a set amount, your pension gradually reduces. The assets test checks how much your belongings and savings are worth, things like property excluding your main home, cars, shares, or super. Again, if your total assets exceed a threshold, your pension is reduced. There's also something called deeming. Instead of looking at the actual interest or dividends you earn, the government assumes your assets are earning a certain percentage of income, the deeming rate. This makes things simpler, but it also means that when deeming rates go up, your assessed income can increase even if your real income hasn't. That's going to become important in November. Right now, as of September 2025, the maximum age pension for a single person is around $1,178.70 per fortnight, and for couples combined it's about $1,777 per fortnight, including supplements. These figures usually go up slightly every March and September. But now the government has announced that, because living costs remain high, there will be an additional increase in November 2025. This special adjustment is designed to give more help to seniors, carers, and people receiving disability payments. According to reports, Single pensioners could see their payments rise by roughly $29.70 per fortnight, and couples could see a combined increase of around $44.80. That may not sound like much at first glance, but it adds up, and it can help ease the pressure when everything else is becoming more expensive. The best part is that this increase will happen automatically. If you already receive the age pension, you don't need to fill out any forms or reapply. It should simply appear in your next eligible payment. But there's another change that's just as important, though a bit more complicated. The government is updating the deeming rates. For the past 5 years, those rates were frozen, which was good for pensioners because it meant Centrelink was assuming your assets earned very little. Now that interest rates have risen, the government says the deeming rates will finally be adjusted. The lower deeming rate will move to around 0.75%, and the upper deeming rate could rise to about 2.75%. For some pensioners, this might reduce the payment slightly, since the system will now assume your savings and investments earn more income than before. For those with modest savings, the effect may be small. But for people with larger balances or multiple investments, the difference could be noticeable. At the same time, from the 1st of November, there are big reforms coming to aged care and home care. These changes matter even if you're not yet using care services, because they affect how costs are calculated for seniors across the board. The current Home Care Packages program will be replaced by a new Support at Home system. Under the new rules, your contributions for services like help with cleaning, bathing, or transport will be based on your income and assets, the same tests used for the age pension. The government promises that no one will be worse off under the new model, and existing care recipients will be protected during the transition. But for new users, especially those with higher income or assets, the contribution rates may differ. There will also be new assessments for people entering residential aged care after November, meaning that if you move into a care home, how your accommodation and care costs are calculated might change. Let's make this more relatable by looking at a few examples. Imagine Mary, a 70-year-old widow who owns her home and lives on the full age pension. She has a small amount of savings and no other income. The November changes will likely bring her a small but welcome increase in her fortnightly payments. The deeming rate rise won't hurt her much because her savings are low. She won't need to do anything. The changes will appear automatically, and if she later applies for home care, her contributions will remain modest. For Mary, this is a positive change overall. Now consider Jim and Anna, both 68, who own their home and have moderate savings and an investment property. They currently receive a part pension because their assets are above the threshold for a full pension. When the November increase arrives, they'll see their pension rise slightly. However, the new deeming rates may offset some of that gain, since their financial assets will now be assumed to earn more. Their overall payment might end up almost the same as before, or just a little higher. If they later use home care services, their contributions could be higher under the new rules because their combined income and assets are more substantial. The government has promised that people already in care will not pay more, but for new applicants, the means testing will link more closely with pension rules. Fourth, use the calculators on the Services Australia website. You can enter your income and assets to estimate how much your pension will be after the November changes. This helps you plan ahead and avoid surprises. Fifth, and most importantly, stay informed. Government policies can change quickly, and small announcements can make a big difference. Subscribe to official updates, check the Services Australia website regularly, and avoid misinformation. Be especially careful about scams. There are many fake websites and messages that pretend to offer bonus pension payments or ask for your Centrelink login details. Centrelink will never send random links asking you to sign in or claim money. Always access your account directly through the official site. Now, you might have a few questions. One of the most common is whether you need to reapply for your pension after November. The answer is no. If you're already receiving the age pension, the changes will happen automatically. Another question is whether your payment could actually go down. Unfortunately, for some people, yes, if the higher deeming rates push your assessed income up, your pension might be reduced slightly. But for many, especially full pensioners with modest assets, the overall result will still be positive. Some also ask about superannuation. If your super is in an income stream or pension phase, it's already counted under the assets and income tests. The deeming change could increase your assessed income from super, but the actual effect depends on your balance and structure. People often worry about whether their home is counted in the assets test. In most cases, your primary residence, the home you live in, is exempt. But if you move into aged care or rent it out, different rules may apply. Starting in November, new means testing arrangements for residential aged care will consider your home differently if you enter care for the first time. It's important to get advice before making big decisions about property. The government has also promised protections. For example, there's a no worse off rule, meaning those already receiving home care will not pay more under the new support at home model. Hardship provisions are available in cases where paying contributions would cause serious financial stress. Then there's Robert, a 75-year-old with significant investments and a second property. His age pension is already small due to the income and assets tests. The higher deeming rates will raise his assessed income further, possibly reducing his pension even more. He may not gain much from the November increase, and his aged care costs could rise under the new system. For Robert, careful financial planning is important. He may need professional advice to see if restructuring his investments could help maintain eligibility for a part pension or reduce future costs. So what should you do to prepare for these changes? First, log into your MyGov or Services Australia account and check your current pension details. Confirm whether you're receiving the full or part pension, verify your listed income and assets, and make sure everything is up to date. Errors or old information can affect how much you're paid. If your circumstances change, for example, you sell property, start earning new income, or give large gifts, you must report these changes to Centrelink within the allowed time, usually 14 days. Failing to report changes can cause overpayments or even debts later. Second, review your investments. The deeming rate increase means that your bank deposits, term deposits, or managed funds will be assessed as earning more income than before. If you have a lot of financial assets, consider talking to a financial advisor about your options. They might help you explore whether some assets could be structured differently to reduce the impact of deeming. But always be cautious. Never make quick investment moves without understanding the consequences. Third, learn about the new support at home system if you or your spouse might need home care. Understand how your pension level will influence your contributions. There are also annual caps on certain fees for aged care services to prevent excessive costs. Still, planning ahead is the best protection. Understanding these systems, keeping your information accurate, and asking for help early can prevent issues later. Services Australia has phone lines, offices, and social workers who can guide you through changes. Community organisations and aged care advocates can also help explain new rules. Now, let's talk about the emotional side of all this. It's understandable to feel anxious or frustrated when these changes come. After all, you've done your part, you've worked, contributed, and paid into the system. You have every right to expect stability and fairness in return. These updates aren't meant to cause confusion. They are part of the government's effort to balance rising costs and provide relief where it's needed most. But that doesn't mean it's easy to navigate. That's why we are here, to explain it clearly and calmly, like a family conversation over a cup of tea, not a lecture full of jargon. If you're watching this and thinking of someone else who might benefit from this information, maybe a friend, a neighbor, or a parent, please share this video with them. Sometimes people miss out simply because they didn't know what was changing. A simple share could make sure they get the support they deserve. And if you found this video helpful, please click the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. It's completely free, but it helps this channel grow so we can keep bringing you trustworthy updates that truly matter to seniors. In the next few weeks, as the government finalizes the November rates, I'll post a follow-up video with the exact figures and examples so you can see how your specific payment might look. We'll go over the official documents together and translate every detail into plain English so there's no confusion. You've earned your peace of mind, and it's only fair that you understand every dollar you're entitled to. So stay informed, take care of yourself, and don't hesitate to ask questions or seek help if you're unsure. This is your right, and knowledge is your best protection. Thank you for watching, for trusting this space, and for being part of this community. You're not alone in this journey. We are walking through it together, one step at a time. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and may your golden years be filled with comfort and security.